funeral at a church where she believed hats to be a prominent part of the outfit. I was meeting her at the funeral and shocked. Okay, actually, I was really appalled when I saw her get out of her red sports car, which had been directed to park right in front of the church with this hat on. I recall feeling mortified through the entire service and like people were staring at us. However, after the service, she was surrounded by many people telling her how beautiful the hat was, and it was the most beautiful hat they'd ever seen. Would she be willing to sell it? Why was I wrong once again? However, once that hat attended a funeral, it no longer became the fun hat. She put it up for today. She's had this put aside for many years. She had picked this hat for me to wear because I don't like dressing up, I don't like costumes, and she knew that wearing this hat would lighten the day and that I'd have an outward sign of her love. She talked about the hat many times over the years and more frequently in the past few months, weeks, and then a lot last week. When my dad found the hat last night, she had left me a note in it that said, "Wear it with honor. I love you, Mom. P.S. Don't forget to clean out my locker at the waterfront." My mom orchestrated much of what happened since Sunday. All right, who are we kidding? She's orchestrated pretty much everything. Look at your funeral bulletin. She had a whole funeral file, what was to be done, the songs that were to be sung, and on Saturday as the day became clear, she directed all of that, including giving some advice to one of the doctors on how to have a better end-of-life discussion. He was leaving the room and she said, "Joe," and he turned around and said, "Yes," and she said, "Next time, just the facts. Be confident and comfortable. It'll go much better." She orchestrated the entire day. She knew exactly what she was doing and how she wanted it to go. And she even orchestrated what we were to do for Christmas. We were mandated to carry out Christmas exactly as she had planned it, and we did. It was not very fun and it was very painful, but we did it just as she instructed. In a short period of time with mere words, there's no way I could ever describe my wonderful mom and her zeal for life, positive attitude, and unconditional love. But her actions and spirit touched so many people. Much to my frustration, my mom was always full of advice, and she wondered on more than one occasion why I didn't welcome it when so many other people sought it. So today, instead of to describe her, I'm going to use this time to share with you her life lessons and passion. It is through her words and actions that I am best able to memorialize her. And in doing this, I'm going to borrow some of Pastor Quigg's way of getting you involved in the service. So you need to be ready to stand. So if you have things on your lap, just get ready to be involved. First of all, she didn't like negative energy. She really detested it. And so recently, Dad, I know you and I have gone through this, she would make us say, and you're going to have to say this with me, so listen up. She would say, "I'm a beautiful woman and God made me this way." All right, women. "I'm a beautiful woman and God made me this way." All right, men. She would make my dad say on a pretty regular basis, "I'm a handsome man and God made me this way."
Handsome man, God made me this way.
All right, so now we've gotten positive energy going. All right, here we're going to get involved. Please stand if you've ever played a round of golf with my mom and remain standing. Please continue to stand if you've ever had a friendly bet with her on the golf course. Note that no one really sat down. She said a little bet made it more interesting. Thank you. You may be seated now. My dad and her had golf bets on a regular basis, with the loser having to plan trips and sometimes paying up in large amounts of pennies. She loved golf. When she couldn't play at the course, she played on the little par 3 course that my dad built at their house, and even when that became too difficult, she continued to read and study and watch videotapes. She loved her golfing buddies, and they were her closest of friends. All right, next thing. Please stand if you've ever been on a trip with my mom. She loved to travel, especially to play golf all over the world. My mom loved adventure and was always looking forward to the next thing. She never looked back or wished for the past, but she was so excited about the future. And even on Sunday, I believe we glimpsed this as she prepared to enter the Golden Gates. Alexander and I were so fortunate to travel extensively with my parents. People sometimes ask us why we traveled with my parents so much. And we said because they are so much fun and adventuresome, and every day is a memory in the making with them. Alexander just referred to it as another trip of a lifetime. My mom was confident in her Lord. She spent time with him on a daily basis, and he had spoken to her personally throughout her life, with the first time being when she was a small child. She was carrying water to their one-room house, and he told her audibly that life would not always be that way. Later in life, I learned that we're not really sure what happened, but something happened during childbirth, and she had some type of experience that let her have a glimpse into what life after death might be. Friends and other cancer patients often ask her, "How do you do it?" She always replied, "I don't do it alone. My God is sufficient." She shared her faith often, especially with the doctors. I am sure she must have surprised quite a few when she arrived for treatment with crosses drawn on the body part to be treated that day. One day she even showed up for surgery wearing Mickey Mouse ears. I don't know about you, but I want her faith and I want her confidence and her comfort. She never appeared to be frightened on Saturday as it became apparent that the only choice was to provide comfort measures. All right, my mom loved to research all the time. Please stand if my mom's research has ever benefited you. Oh, thank you. She was always researching cancer therapies, clinical trials, outcomes with different treatments, alternative treatments, research projects, and where the research dollars were going. Her constant companion, her iPad, showed that on Friday she was researching the chief gynecological oncologist at Sloan Kettering. She fought fearlessly through this battle, always working it every which way she could. She lived longer than anticipated because of her research and persistency with her health. On her 70th birthday at dinner, we decided that everyone should pick an animal to represent themselves. My dad was the quiet, wise owl. Alexander was the roadrunner. I was the ostrich because I like to bury my head in the sand. And my mom, she was the possum because she was always playing dead. I can't begin to tell you how many doctors over the last decade had predicted her demise, but she researched and she fought and she got second opinions and she really worked hard at living. Even on Saturday, she said maybe Possum can pull one more out, but that was not to be. When I went home Sunday morning to straighten up her bathroom, I realized that while she made her health look so easy and made life look so easy, she was constantly thinking and doing everything she could to take care of herself. The bathroom was filled with remedies and emulsions and prescriptions that she used daily just to keep her body functioning. I don't know about you all, but I know I take my good health for granted. And I was awestruck by how she worked to live. And I wonder what we might all do to take better care of ourselves. My mom loved life. Her rules were that you played first and you did chores later, because otherwise you never get to play. And she challenged me frequently to show her with my arms how I was living life. Were my arms close together, confined within the ideas and the chores of today, or are they wide open, taking life, everything that you could get out of it? All right, so it's your turn. Let's stand up and see where everybody is. Where are you right now? And where do you want to be? Drink it in. Time is short. I hope this thought will encourage and challenge you to live wide open. All right, thank you. May sit again. She had another saying, death comes on a regular, normal day. We always think it's going to be a special day that we'll know, but it's a day just like any other, and life goes on all around us. She lived every day like it was her last. On Saturday, as the path became clear, we asked her if she wanted to call anyone, but she said she had talked to most everyone and had said all that she had to say. Well, except for one person. She wanted to see Baylor Boone. She wanted to see him, and that's the one person she wanted to see all by herself. And I'm not sure what she told her, but I'm hoping one day she'll share it with me. And of course, she gave him some advice about women on his way out the door as well. She told him to be kind and be wise. All right, so that's all I'm going to talk about love, because now we're going to talk about hate. She hated cancer with a passion. She believed it was of the devil. And a few years ago, she wrote a letter and contacted many churches to ask if they would pray weekly for a cure for cancer, for eradication. She worked tirelessly for cancer research and scrutinized closely where the money went and the outcomes of the related research. The area that she was so excited about was the work being done at the Virginia Tech Vet School with animals, because these doctors and these researchers come face to face with animals every day who are dying of cancer, and they were able to experiment and try some of these methods, and sometimes with amazing results. She believed that the cure for cancer would turn out to be something simple, and I know that that was one of the first questions she must have asked when she met God, because it was her passion. She told Dr. Fintel on a regular basis that a cure for cancer would be found and that he would be relegated to treating colds and flu. She believed it. I hope I live to see this day. To so many people who work and sacrifice to find a cure, thank you and don't give up. Fight like she does. And to the Advanced Auto family, please know that my mom was really blown away by the generous corporate and personal dedication to finding a cure, and especially for ovarian. Only about 22,000 women a year are diagnosed with ovarian. About 15,000 women die. The 5-year survival rate is very low, even with early detection, which is very rare. My mom had written a letter to Nancy Brinker, founder of the Komen Foundation, to ask if they would consider taking all female cancers under their umbrella. She worked on this letter for over a year, and thanks, Jenny, for getting it to Ms. Brinker. With such a small number of women being diagnosed with ovarian, it's hard to raise necessary funds for research. And even if a favorable treatment is found for ovarian, no funds are thrown its way unless it can also be proven to cure other cancers. My mom's goal with the Komen Foundation was for ovarian patients to influence women to get their mammograms. Imagine being a terminal ovarian cancer patient for which there's no cure and comparing yourself to someone who could go have an annual, simple, non-invasive test that would provide early detection and a way to live. Have you had your mammogram? Have your family members had theirs? Ask your friends and your acquaintances regularly. When dining out, at church, with work, you would be surprised at the people who would not have their mammogram. Make this simple test and make a difference in your own life and the lives of your loved ones. So I'd like, if you have had cancer or are currently being treated for cancer, would you please stand? And if cancer has touched your life, would you stand? Thank you all so much. Okay, speaking of loved ones, my mom knew how to love, and she showered her unconditional love on her entire family. And Dad, she adored you, and she just longed for time with you. And look at the words she wrote for her obituary and the card she left for you. She loved you. Thank you all so much for being a part of my mom's life.